here's our next project. This is called Life's a Hoot. And these are the 4 projects of the 4 different styles of cards that come out of this kit. And you can make 16 cards, 4 designs, 4 each of the 4 different designs. These are great little versatile cards to keep on in your stash, to have as a ready-to-go card for loved ones, for friends, for acquaintances, for somebody who you want to say, you know, I'm thinking of you. I know you've gone through tough times. So this is a great card kit, and the colors are just beautiful, and I think they're good for males and females. And I had a lot of fun making this. I used color pencils. That's what's up top. Our color watercolor pencils, and our colors that are featured are grape, glacier, and sapphire, wisteria, and papaya. And so I hope you enjoy this video. This is how we make it. Bye now. Hi, this is Dorothy with Scrapbooking, and today I am going to do and show you the card making workshop kit called Life's a Hoot. It makes 16 cards for each of 4 designs, but this is really cute. And I looked at this and I thought, you know, that's pretty cute and pretty versatile, and there's a lot of people that, you know, I could send these cards to. So I like the sayings, thinking of you, sunshine and happiness, wishing you, and happy birthday. But I love the loop-de-loops. It's 5.5 inches long, so it's perfect on a A2 card, a 4.25 by 5 inches. So it's a good size, and it's got these cute little stylized butterflies and a bee. Normally I don't care for those, but these were very cute, and I like the zip strip. You get 2 pieces of this gorgeous paper. That's a grape. There's the flip side. So you get grape, glacier, papaya, sapphire, I can't think of the colors, periwinkle, and wisteria, if I didn't say wisteria. So here are the cardstocks that you get. You get 2 pieces of white, and you get the glacier is on top, and that's the color combination. Then comes, and see how perfect that is, then comes the sapphire, and then that is wisteria, and that is grape. So look at how beautiful that watercolor is. It's just a gorgeous wash. I'm really partial to that watercolor. So here I've got I went ahead here, and off camera I cut all of the pieces. So I'm just showing you the different designs, and here's the stamp set, so you can kind of see how big the butterflies are, and again with the zip strip, and not zip strips, what are those things called? Die cuts. So look at how cute that comes out. I mean, it's just really, and you can use that for just, oh, so many things, and so many cards, and scrapbooking, and just, you name it, you can use loop-de-loops. So anyway, you get those 2 pieces, and there's a lot of cuts. I'm here to tell you there's a lot of cuts. So I did it off camera because it took me quite a while. And when you cut these, you have to put them in stacks or sandwich bags. That's just showing you how many die cuts to make of the butterflies and bee and what have you. And this uses watercolor pencils for coloring the butterflies and the bee. And so it uses the grape, the glacier, sapphire, and intense black, and you use that on the critters so that you can color them in. But we have the Milan watercolor pencils. And so I picked out the colors. Yeah, I didn't read the instructions thoroughly. I picked out the colors that I thought went with the colors in the paper. And then I started reading. And lo and behold, number one, I didn't know that our pencils had names to them. Silly me. And number two, it's calling for the king purple. Well, as it turns out, I picked out the queen's purple. So, and I also picked out bougainvillea, which they don't use bougainvillea. They're using the pink, the king purple. So there's the king purple there. So it's just a tad different than the queen's purple. And then turquoise is the one that's like glacier, and then the dark blue is ocean blue. And I think the pink one is called bloom pink. So anyway, I went ahead, like I said, I cut all of the pieces out and put them in piles. And so I was going to just go ahead and start on the instructions. So the first thing they do is have you give a very light background to that centerpiece, which is going to be the backdrop for the butterfly. And so, you know, I've always loved this kind of coloring where you're just doing it real sketchy and light. I mean, ever since I was a kid, that's how I colored. So it's right up my alley to do it that way. I decided to do one in pink. Actually, the instructions look like it was pink to me, but it turns out they're calling for king purple. King purple. Anyway, and it doesn't say either to use a blending pen to smooth out the sketchy drawings. So I'll show you what I do, because I decide I want to do that. Okay, the important thing is to use the smallest block for each stamp. Otherwise, you'll see the mess I get into with the little dots later on. You want to have as little amount of block that is going to touch the stamp pad so it doesn't transfer over to what you're stamping on. So I like these the stamps because the lines are nice and thick and they fill in very, very nicely. And I always like to line up all of my die cuts that I need to stamp. I line them up in the same direction. So, whoops, sorry about that. The old gray mare's hair is right in the way. I like to line them up so I'm not, you know, rotating my stamp all over the place and getting confused. So it just goes kind of quick. And, you know, when I do these card kits, if you want to do the whole card kit, I mean, you could just do some of it, you know, for whatever events, you know, birthdays or whatever you've got coming up. But I like to just get it done with. And then it goes into, I have our biggest storage container, and it's segmented into 4 different segments. And I put my cards in there according to, you know, birthday or get well or holiday. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm only going to make one of each of the cards for this video. But I want to go ahead and just get all of the stamping done while I'm kind of in the groove, because it goes faster if you do it that way. So I have that stamp, the big butterfly. See how cute he is? It's a nice stamp, but it's stylized, but it's still a nice stamp. So I go ahead, and the Project 2, the second card, also has that same big butterfly. So why not go ahead and get it out of the way? Now I want you to notice, I love this. This is one of my favorite things in design, is when you carry one element of design to another thing. Now if you look at it's kind of hard because they're tiny, but the antennas of the butterfly are the same curly Q as the die cut. And you'll see that several times on the bugs, on the butterflies. And it's just kind of a real, you have to really be looking at it to see it, but it's a really nice touch. I've got ink on me. No big deal. So I'm kind of reading the instructions to use the different color pencils for the butterflies. Now you can color your butterflies any way you want. And so I decided I'm going to use that bloom pink to make the dots, which are normally black on a butterfly, I think. And then if you want to add a little bit of shading, you can go along the outside edges and darken the pencil and then do it light on the inside. That way you're adding a little element of depth to it, so it kind of makes it, kind of interesting. You can see on the drawing that there's, kind of a variation in the color, a little darker and lighter. So I think that's a good technique to use just for interest. And so I'm just kind of coloring it the way I want to. Now I was thinking, okay, if you really messed up, you could probably flip it over. I think you could, but it's not perfectly symmetrical for doing another stamp on the other side. So I'm not sure how it would work, because it looks very much symmetrical, but it's not a perfect symmetrical. I still think you could probably flip it if you really messed up. So I'm going ahead and coloring using the darker area along the edges of the lines. Excuse me. And I'm just kind of coloring them the way I want to. So it brings in elements of all the different colors on the paper. So you always fold towards the little outy part rather than the inny part. I know it doesn't, there's nothing intuitive about that, but that's what you do. So there are two of the same pieces that go on the card. One is for showing one side and one is showing the other side. And you just bring it right to the very edge for both of them. If you wanted to, you could totally add use the grape to make an edge along the paper edges. You could totally do that if you wanted to. So I'm going to put this on the sapphire. But I kind of decided I want to get my shimmer brush out and kind of blend the color a little bit. And it also adds a touch of shimmer. So you can't see it, kind of hard to see it. But you can see it a little bit, but there is shimmer there. And the other thing is little dots go on there. So there's these 3 little dots, very cute, just for a little boop, a little element. Just a little something on there. It's interesting to me how such a small little piece of something can make such a big difference. I mean, it just really adds a nice little element to the whole card. So I am just taking my liquid Tombow and, excuse me, just dotting along the way. I'm not totally covering it. I'm just trying to be pretty light with it. And then I'm going to put it down. I'm going to use my tweezers to kind of handle it. And you see how it's a perfect 5.5. Goes from edge to edge in 5.5. Is that not like the cutest little element? And I'm just dabbing off the excess glue so we don't get blobs of glue. And then I'm going to put this down. Just want to make sure I've got plenty of Tombow on there to hold it in place. And you want to put the points of the cardstock right at the edges, the edge of the paper. And then that is going to go in the middle. And I am going to pop it up with a little bit of a foam dot. And the colors really blend so nicely. Now I forgot to do this little guy. Now If you see on that his wing there, that's another loop-de-loop. So like I said, I just think it's really cool when you repeat your design element patterns. It's a thing, and it just really makes a difference in carrying the your design all around your area of interest. So I'm just going to go ahead and color. Just blend a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little bit. It's just just enough to smooth the color out and add a little bit of sheen and sparkle to the butterflies in this case. So I'm adding 2 little foam dots on there and then putting them on. Is that not cute? I think that's really cute. And then what they have on here is happy birthday. Well, the happy birthday isn't 1 stamp, it's 2 stamps. So I was thinking maybe I could put wishing you and put happy birthday on the inside. But the wishing you is just cutting it a little close. So I thought, well, what I've got to do is stack the happy birthday. So I am using, if you look at the block, so I want to make sure I have the happy birthday centered to the happy, the birthday centered to the happy. And trying to figure out what to stamp it in. It could get stamped in the intense black, but I kind of want the navy, the sapphire. It's not navy, it's sapphire. Okay, so I have to be careful with how I stamp this because there we go. So I get my little sponge out and put it underneath. Ink it up. Wipe off any excess. This is where you really have to be careful with the bigger stamp. Now I'm not sure why the H didn't come out, and I decide, oh shoot, let me not do that. Let me take the birthday off and just try to stamp over happy. That's what I'm going to try to do, is line up the letters. So I'm just stamping over happy because I missed part of the H. And I did it. Oh, I love it. And that's why I love clear stamps and clear blocks right there. Fixing boo-boos as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to blend my colors here with my shimmer brush. I'm really glad I thought of this. I really think this is a good idea to do. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But it sure is. It's so nice how it blends the colors so beautifully. It just smooths everything out. And add shimmer. And how can you not love shimmer? There he is. Happy birthday. I have somebody I can send that to next week. So I usually try to put something on the inside, but you know, I don't know what I'm going to put on the inside of this one, so I'll do it later. But what I do usually do is take one of the elements from the stamp set and use it on the back, just as kind of a little Hallmark greeting card thing. There we go. That's just my thing that I like to do. Okay, so what's next? I'm going to put all these pieces away, and then I'm probably going to do a video where I put the rest of them away just so that I make myself get all the cards done. Because I will be, what's it called? Cards for Kindness. You can look it up. I think it's cardsforkindness.com. And I am going to be sending another stack of cards to them because they put out a call for, and they like the blank inside cards, but birthday cards, they don't want any Valentine's cards, but you know, basic things that you can use right now. So I'm gonna, you know, some of these are gonna go to that because they can go for either male or female. I think it's fine because they've got strong colors in it, so I don't think it makes, you know, a difference whether it goes to a male or a female. So I think it's going to be, and I have to tell you, I really enjoy sending the cards to Cards for Kindness. I think it's a great idea. They send them to nursing homes, they send them to military, they send them to places where, there's people that are by themselves. So I just think it's a great organization. Okay, so this is project number 2, and that strip, the grape strip, is coming a half an inch down from the top. And then this piece is going to go snug up right underneath it, end to end. If you see that paper with the circles in person, it looks shiny, but it's not. It's not like it glistens or anything. But the paper itself it almost looks shiny. But it's just how they did the shadowing. So it's like very cool. And I think that this paper, if you get just the paper packet and the stickers for scrapbooking or whatever, then using gold embossing would just be beautiful with this particular paper. It would really enhance that kind of element that they're showing. So now I ripped that piece of white daisy towards me, and that way it shows the white inner core of our cardstock. So it's not so much white on white that makes a difference, but when I rip that wisteria piece, you will see the white cardstock. And if you rip towards you, then you will display the white cardstock. If you rip it away, then it hides. So you just get the torn edge without showing the white cardstock. So I'm using the grape to stamp the thinking of you. That's another thing that they're looking for, a card thinking of you. That's why I say these will be perfect cards for them, for Cards for Kindness. And you use the turquoise pencil and just do a kind of a background over the thinking of you. Yeah, my little dots got all filled with tissue paper because I was using that to clean it off instead of my micro cloth. Looney Tunes. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, this one gets this butterfly trail. Okay, so I'm going to put it on its face and then pick it up so it doesn't lose that curvature. It was losing it when I was picking it up and putting it on the block. So I'm going to go ahead and trying to see where to put it. So that's the flight of the butterfly. Isn't that cute? And then you put some little glacier dots along the way. So cute. Such a delicate little element there. It's just so adorable looking. I don't know what I'm so taken with that. But I am. Because I just love the design that goes into our cards and our scrapbook pages. So I'm centering this and dropping it below the ripped edge, so you just see the ripped edge on the either side. And this piece is going to go behind the sentiment, and I'm going to put it up under there. So it needs to come over, and see how you can see the color between the color and the white rib. So, and I'm centering that. Now, this little curlicue, it's just a piece of it is going on there. So I'm just cutting it off to make sure it's just covering the wisteria width there and just dotting along the edge while I'm holding it with the tweezer. Makes it much easier. Then I can flip it over and put it right up to the top. And that the rest of that can get used for the next card. So we've got this butterfly that is going to get colored. And it's not going to be just like the other butterflies. So, you know, you can truly color them however you want. Turquoise is really one of my favorite colors. I think I end up using a lot of turquoise on this one. I've always loved turquoise. So just to, while I'm coloring this, if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe and, you know, leave a comment, tell me what you think. And then if you want to shop, you can shop at dorothy.closetomyheart.com. And everything will come directly to you at your house. And you will see, if you haven't used Close to My Heart products before, we've got really good products. And our paper, I don't think anybody surpasses our paper. Our paper is amazing. So I'm just going ahead and going over all of my coloring areas with my shimmer. Our shimmer brushes come in all sorts of colors, but when you use the clear one, you can use it as a blending pen like I am for this. You can go over just a color cardstock and you'll just see the color cardstock with the glistening showing up. So it's you can use that clear shimmer brush in many ways. You can even paint with it. So look at how cute that card is. Is that not adorable? And it's just a great, it's kind of real cheerful, thinking of you. And there's a little butterfly on the back. I mean, I think that somebody would smile when they got that. If they were feeling a little down, I think that would bring a little smile to their face. Okay, now we've got a happy birthday here, and we've got a technique going, and we have a big fat bumblebee. So you gotta love the bumblebees. So we're using a piece of glacier, some wisteria, some of our, one piece of the Star of the Show paper, the watercolor paper, should say. And then we're going to use a piece of wisteria that's light on one side and dark on the other. And then we're going to use a piece of grape with the white. And I'm going to put those away. And then I need to stamp. So this is how it's going to go. A lot of times I'll kind of do a dry run first. But I know that I want the lighter side to stick up on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it down. And then I've got to stamp one piece of that. So one piece is going to go down, and then the wider piece is going to get stamped. And I'm taking the sapphire and I'm dovetailing by making a cut in the middle, and then a cut from the corner up to the end of the cut line, and the same thing on the other side. And then you've got, as perfect a dovetail cut as you could hope for. Life doesn't have to be perfect either, just so you know. Okay, so I've got my butterfly trail, and I'm going to do tone on tone here. So we're going to stamp the excuse me, wisteria paper with grape. So it's kind of purple on purple, I guess I should say. It's not really tone on tone. And I'm just kind of doing random stamping to just kind of do a thing here. And this is kind of fun. So there we've kind of made our own background paper. Then the other thing we're going to do, we're going to stamp happy birthday, but we're going to stamp happy first. Got to clean off my birthday stamp. And there's my happy. So I'm going to put this on kind of a skinny thing. And I'm lining it up with, there's a line, you can see the line there on the block. And you can line your letters up on that line on the block so that you get them straight. And I'm picking up ink. Boy, I tell you. Okay, so this is first generation, second generation, third generation. There we go. And then I'll put birthday down at the bottom. So that's a technique to just kind of keep in mind of something to do for a little different thing. So you just don't ink in between and you just stamp a couple of times. By the time you're at your first, second, third, you're kind of pretty much running out of ink. I don't know that a fourth one would work. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of my little dots around. And then it's going to go on the dark side of the grape cardstock. And below that, these silver gems come with the kit. So we're going to take a big one and put it on in the middle, and then a smaller one and slide it over, and then we're going to slide another one on the other side of the big one, a small one on the other side of the big one, and it went shooting off into the sunset. There we go. So I'm just trying to make them equidistant. And then I'm going to add my Tombow onto the back. And so we have a nice little shiny element going on this. So now what I need to do is put these down before I put my sentiment down. So we're going to do the dark side showing up. And I stamped on the light side. So I'm putting this like a ½ an inch over from the side. And then the dark piece is going snugged up right next to it. And then I'm going to, gosh, I love that paper. That is so pretty. You know, that would really make a wonderful scrapbook page that's for a birthday. Okay, and then we're putting the nice dark sapphire on there. And then we're putting the sentiment on top. So there we go. Now I need to color my little bumblebee, and that's going to be super easy because I'm just using 2 colors on him. But of course I need to stamp him first. And that's the butterfly, that's not the bumblebee. I need the bumblebee. He's so cute. Put him in intense black, and then we've got a good stamp going. Making sure it's good. I think I was having some, you know why? I was having problems with it because I didn't rub it against my skin, so it wasn't giving as clear a image, and that just shows you the difference between now you can season by just stamping the stamp several times until you get a good clear stamp. Usually the skin technique works really quickly. It might be gross though, so if you think it's gross, then you can stamp several times until you get a real clear image. So I went ahead and stamped all of my little bumblebees. And now we're going to make my favorite color. We're going to make a turquoise bumblebee, because who doesn't love turquoise bumblebees? With King's purple wings. I mean, come on. There we go. And see, I'm really making the outline darker and then filling the inside with the lighter. That's so much fun. I think I like doing him the best of all. See, and the color almost looks to get darker when it gets blended. And see how pretty he is? So he's going to get popped up and go right up there by the happy. And he's a happy bee. Right there. It's cute. I love it. I'm really happy with these cards. And then you put some little dots right there by him. I don't know why, but it looks cute. So I'm going to take my little bee and I'm going to put him on the back. And shall I make a purple bee? But of course, because why not? There we go. Is he not so? He's just so cute. He's cute. And then I've got to put some little dots by the bee. Love it. Oh, I'm enjoying these. I really like them. Okay, so now we're coming to the fourth design. So I will make the fourth design, and just to show you, I'm going to go ahead and stamp all the little, these are the small butterflies. Get my intense black and go ahead and stamp them. Now these are really cute. And there is the curly Q element on the upper wings going vertically. So darn cute. Some people say so stinking cute. Okay, that's just adorable. Okay, I need him later for the back of the card. So this is wishing you sunshine and happiness. So that's a nice, see, that's a perfect card to go for cards for kindness, because wishing you sunshine and happiness is a good, covers some of everything, or anything or nothing. It's just because. It's a just because card. Okay, so I'm pulling out all the pieces that I need. So I've got a wisteria, a glacier, a sapphire, a circle, and a watercolor, and a zip strip, and another glacier, and a white. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the zip strip 10. 10 pieces on one card. So when I say that there was a lot of cutting, there was a lot of cutting. I mean, that's a lot of cutting for, but if you do it like a factory, if you line it up and do it like a factory and put them all in their appropriate piles, then you don't have to go measuring over again to try to figure out which piece does this one go to, because you would drive yourself nuts doing that. So I'm just making the one here, but the thing is, it goes from end to end. If you just treat it like a factory and do all the same steps at the same at one time, then you can go much faster. So we're stamping on the light, and we're stamping grape on the light side of the glacier. Now, I tell you, this is where I had the problems. I told you earlier that I was having problems with these dots. And the problem I had, because this dot is so small, even the 1 by 1, my smallest block, I was picking up ink. I don't know what problem I was having with this, but you can tell I kept on picking up extra ink. And then I'd forget to wipe it off and leave ink there. And I finally got that I was picking up the ink, so I started wiping it off. The problem is I kept on doing it, then I added some more ink, and I just said, okay, that's looking not right. It's too much ink that's not supposed to be there. So now I'm stamping and wiping off the excess and stamping. So I'm trying to be a lot more diligent with this, even though I'm using the flip side of the paper that they suggested. I don't care. Needed to be a cleaner stamping than what I was doing. And it's okay to use the darker piece. I mean, you know, it's really a choice thing. And every single time I inked up those little dots, I got ink on my block every single time, even though I was trying to put it down so carefully so as to not get the ink on the block. Didn't happen. But this turned out great. There was no extra ink on it. So there we go. And look at what a cute piece that is. See, it was really worth the effort to do it. It's really a cute piece. So I'm trying to figure out, what do I do next? And I'm going to stamp, what is it? Let me take my butterfly trail off. Didn't get it on there straight. It's really a smart idea to put the stamp down on the stamp side, down on your table, and pick it up on the back side of your stamp with the block. And that way you can really line up the letters that need to be straight. You can line them up with that line on the block. And this one is Wishing You, and it's in a whole different font. Now, I like both of these fonts. I really like that Sunshine and Happiness font. And then this one is a totally different font. I don't know if it's sort of like Art Deco. Anyway, we're going to do it in a different color. We're doing it in Glacier. So I'm just going to make sure that that stamp's okay because it's a thicker font. And I'm just putting an equal number of letters on either side of the Wishing You, so it's coming out, you know, with like 3 letters on either side. So, and once again, we have the little dots. Just 2 of them. So the Wishing You is going to go on. Like I said, if you wanted to do additional distressing on the edges, you totally could. Okay, so my watercolor grape is going to be the backdrop for the sentiment. And it's going a little bit over into the balloons or circles. And this Wishing You goes right to the edge of the wisteria. And then the curly cues, loop-de-loops, are going to go from one end to the other. So I'm just going to run, that's part of a zip strip that's going right over there. So we've got a loop-de-loop on the bottom and a loop-de-loop on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it with my tweezers and just start running some dots along the, excuse me, along the loops. Don't really know when to stop either. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set it down, but I decide I want a loop to be showing up on the one end of the paper and most of a loop on the other end of the paper. And so I'm wiping off the excess ink and flip it over and cut off the little bits. And look at that. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here's my butterfly, the number 10 piece that's going on this card. So Wishing You sunshine and happiness. I mean, that's just a wonderful thing that you can send to anybody at any time. So I'm coloring my butterfly. This one's getting a little bit different color, but I love that we've got loop-de-loops going above and below the sentiment and also on the butterfly. I mean, very cool. And here comes my shimmer. Just so you know, I speeded this video up 200%. So it took an hour and 20 minutes to do all this, but it also took longer to do the cuts. So there we go. Here's that. That's a cute little butterfly. I'm real happy with that. So I'm going to go back and do, I guess I've got 12 more cards to make. So I'll go back and make those cards and probably make a real quick video to show you me zooming through it. So butterfly and our little dots. So sweet. So there we go. There's the 4 projects from this Life's a Hoot. And, you know, you might look at the stylized butterflies thinking that they're kind of childish, but they're really just, you know, think of it as stylized. There's the 4 cards for the 4 projects. And here are the colors that we used. Used my tweezers. It was an important thing to use. And I just think they came out, it's a real cute project. And so this is called Life's a Hoot. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you anytime you come back to my YouTube site. So thank you very much. So bye now, and you take care. Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.